Yay!
What's up, brother Ed? We live. We live
All
here on
right.
YouTube. Guys, what's going on? So this is a continuation from last week. I'm sitting here with my good friend Ed, subject to King. And today we got some HUDs for you guys to check out. We also got a couple of pictures of the properties. So you can see, this is a real business. This is a real business you want to add to your investment portfolio into your investment because a lot of people only know how to do one way. Some people don't know how to do rehab, some people don't know how to wholesale, some people don't know how to do subject to. But I say, you gotta, this real estate arena is good to have plenty of tools in your toolbox, so you're always equipped when the deals come through and you can execute more deals than the average person. So
That's right.
so I came across one. I don't know if I told you about this. Came across one last week. Now you know these sellers, man. You got to make sure you do some check some information. So the lady called me last week, Ed, pre foreclosure. She told me she owed 159 on the property, which was a lie. So I'm all excited over here on YouTube, man. We had did a video. It's still a good deal, but now I gotta, be Mr. Transaction Engineer on this one because I gotta do some negotiating, man. So she said she owed 159. My attorney did a title real quick. He pulled it up online and got all the liens for me. She owed 180 on it. Let me get my pen. She owed 180,000 on it, plus 20,000 second, plus $10,000 IRS limit, and she got a $6,000 credit card bill on it. So the deal went from 160 or 159, what she told me, um, to what is that? About
Uh,
216.
Eddie, let me stop you for a second. This is why this is so funny. The reason this is so funny is because here we talking to students that certainly they definitely don't need to come across no transaction like this. I mean, we're not going to suggest that they take any kind of deal like this, certainly without our help, and that's where we come in these kind of transactions. I mean, there's no way that a brand new student or a beginner investor will know how to do a transaction like this. I mean, this is a difficult transaction. It's doable, but it's not simple.
I know for the average person, boy, it's gonna be. They look at this deal, man. Oh my God, there's nothing I can do with it.
Yep.
And of course, she don't want anything. Now she has a friend in there she wants to stay in to. She want the friend to stay in until January, and she's willing to pay. So she's willing to come to close. We're gonna close on a Monday. Well, it may be a little more after Monday because she owed about 11 grand in back taxes, but she's willing to stop the sale. She's thinking about doing a BK and stop the sale, which is I told her, probably gonna be her best bet because she's 11,000 behind, and it wouldn't make sense for us to come out of our pocket and bring 11 grand and she owe a million liens. I mean, we can make it happen, but it's better, if she went the other route, fire BK, stop the sale, then let us go in and renegotiate. So that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're debating right now. So she's in between that. But on a deal like this, it's still a good deal, guys. If you're able to work this deal. Now, if you are not experienced enough, I wouldn't advise, like Ed said, I wouldn't advise you getting into this. But we know from experience that $20,000 second mortgage, which is with another bank, which that's what I love. You got two banks, man. It's like heaven on earth. especially with the second mortgage, because they'll typically take 10% or less when the mortgage has gotten behind. So mortgage is behind, she owes 20,000. I can get that down to probably about 2,000. Then she has an IRS lien. I know how to get that removed. I have that released from the property. You know, that may cost me $1,000 or so, like that, just for a release. It's still gonna be attached to her, but I'm gonna get that lien released. 6,000 credit card. You know, credit card companies, they you can negotiate with them all day. So I probably can get them. It's not even major. I could have them just stay on there until I pay it off, or I could just go in there and just negotiate with them, give them about $600. So maybe 1,000. Let's just say we gave them 1,000 on that 6,000, which is too high. Heck no. Let's say about 600. I like 600 better. I feel better with 600. So we can probably get away with that credit card company for 600. Go in, modify the first mortgage. Payments are 1,350, so we probably get it down to maybe about 11, 1,200, something like that. Now it's a deal, but this ain't gonna happen overnight, guys. This not a deal. It's gonna happen. You know, you go to negotiate and boom, you got these liens. It's gonna take a lot of time. And this is a really nice house, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, all brick, about 2,300 square feet, 2-car garage. But you know, it's still a good deal, but it's gonna be a lot of work because you got to get on the phone and negotiate all these liens from the first mortgage down to the second, down to the IRS lien, down to the credit card lien. And you can, so that'll be a total of, let's say, with all her liens on her, not including the first mortgage, but the second mortgage, IRS lien, and the credit card, that's about 36,000. We'll get that down about, let's see, two, three, let's say $4,000 max. We'll get that 36,000 down to 4,000. So now you done created about 30,000 in equity. And you know, continue to put somebody on a lease purchase or owner finance and you know, lease it out, rent it out until you cash out the deal. So it's still a good deal, but if you know, if you're not experienced, you won't see the money in the deal. You just see a lot of debt and you're like, oh man, this is a bad one. What's your take, Ed?
Eddie, why you had to start off with a difficult deal, brother?
Hey man, I gotta let them see there's some fire in the trenches sometimes. They're not always sweet. But she threw me a
Oh,
curveball last week, Ed. I was on her so excited. I was like, whoa, I hit that jackpot.
all
Hey,
right. So okay, so let's weigh it out. Let's weigh it out for our viewers here. Let's weigh it out for our students. Hold on, I think I got something popping up here in my way. Hold on. All right. Okay. Let's weigh this out. I think it's very, very good that we get to talk about a deal like this. Okay. We're going to get into some more things, but right now you said some key words in your conversation just then that I know the students are not familiar with.
ooh, I do that all
I
the time.
mean, yeah,
It's
I
it's
know.
it's so
I
hard.
know
We've
you
been
and
doing it so long, man.
yes, you and I are masters at these words, but we're talking to students and beginners and beginning investors, and they can learn it, no doubt about it. But let's start with the word modify. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, most students, most beginning investors, heck, you and I didn't know what that meant when we first started. So let's talk about modify. We're going to cover a couple of other things that you just discussed, and then we're going to go on to a few other things. But um, let's just talk about modify. Let's help our students understand something here that they very much got the ability to do, learning from. When you started out, you said you thought that the seller told you that it was 159,000 that she thought was owed on the property. You found out that was a lie. Well, that gets back into one of the things that we talked about last week. Why it's so important to get a title search done, because as a result of you either doing a title search or you got that coupon statement and you called that mortgage company, her mortgage company, the seller mortgage company, with her on the line and gave you authorization to talk to the lender and order a payoff. Unless you've done all that yourself, bottom line, you found out that that 159,000 was not the truth.
Right.
It jumped all the way up to 180,000, and knowing that, now we talk about modifying that $180,000. Or what modify basically mean is that we can get some of that 180,000 reduced, lowered, forgiven, whatever word fits. But the bottom line, let's say we can get it down to 150 or 160. So what happens when you do that is you create equity. Now, creating equity is not an easy task, but it's not impossible either. But again, we don't recommend these kind of transactions to start out with. I mean, you could do them along the way. It take a little bit more time, a little bit more patience and understand them. But understand and modifying, I think now that the students understand what modify means. It just simply means that we can get that 180 reduced from the mortgage company slash bank slash lender, all the same thing. Okay, that's the first thing, right, Eddie?
Right.
The second thing you brought up was a second mortgage and getting that second mortgage discounted. You didn't use the word discount, but the students need to understand that second mortgage holders can and will and often discount the underlying amount. In this case, it's $20,000. When we get that done, when we accomplish that discount, we again create equity in the home. So here again, you got the first mortgage you're creating equity with, and the second mortgage you're creating equity with. Now it's beginning to be what Eddie called a good deal.
Right.
Right,
Yes, sir.
it's beginning to be a good deal now. Now here comes the IRS. Okay, the IRS, everybody's scared of them except me and Eddie.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of them.
Me either.
Eddie's not afraid of them. Okay, we know how to negotiate. When Eddie calls himself a transaction engineer, what that really means is you know how to put together a transaction no matter what's going on inside the transaction.
Right.
Okay, so we talk to the IRS and we can get that $10,000 IRS lien removed or released from the property.
Right.
Okay. And then lastly, you talked about the $6,000 credit judgment lien that she has now against the house. And boy, I really want to get into some of this as time go on, as we teach them what happens in people's lives that they really can control if they understand this stuff.
Right.
This lady got a $6,000 credit card judgment against her, probably simply because she failed to notify them and or go to court after they took her to court. Right, Eddie?
Right. She didn't go to court, she said.
She did not go to court, guys, and you got to learn this. You got to learn that if you don't go to court, that is considered an automatic judgment by default. You might need to write that down because it's important.
You
An
look.
automatic, huh?
I said basically you done lost.
You lost. Yes, you're exactly right. That's an automatic judgment by default. If you fail to appear in court on any petition for you to go to court, you better go. And I don't say that in a mean way. I say it in a great way. If you want your life to stay somewhat lined up, then you need to go.
Right.
All
Or
right.
suffer the
Now,
consequences.
well, she's suffering the consequences, the lien against the house now. Okay. So when the house sells, now let's keep it real. This is something else that's important in this transaction. What's important in this transaction that if that house forecloses by law, there's only two things that survive a foreclosure. Two. Well, certainly this credit card don't.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. It's gone.
Yeah.
So it's gone. The credit card company lose, okay, if the house forecloses. So that's what puts us as investors in a great negotiating position. Man, I get fired up and excited about this. Because
Plenty of
unless you
opportunity.
got this kind of knowledge, say what, Eddie?
I said there's plenty of opportunity.
Yes, unless you have this kind of knowledge, guys and girls, if you're listening, you would walk away from a deal like this because you don't have the knowledge of it. So now here Eddie and Ed come into your life saying, please, please, please do not walk away from these kind of transactions. Let us partner with you. Let us help you. Right, Eddie?
Right. Because these deals here, guys, especially like the bigger the second mortgage, especially if it's with another bank, man, that's your money. You're gonna end up paying about 10% or less to that second mortgage, and you just created a pile of equity. So just like this property, okay, everything's discounted down. Um, get rid of all these liens, it'll create about a good 50,000 in equity. But there's still a little equity, and it's worth between 220 and 240. So discount these liens, now you got about a good 50, 60, 50, 50, between 50 and 60 in equity. Come in, it only need interior painting. It looked pretty good in there because she just bought the house like a year and a half ago, and she's
Wow.
already losing it. So it's still in pretty good shape. I mean, we don't really, if we put somebody on the lease purchase or on the finance after we buy a subject to, honestly, yeah, we don't even have to do anything to it. It's like move in ready. We just basically put them on in the property, or we can retail it. Just put a little TLC into it, interior painting, then put it on the market and sell it. So once you get those lean discounted, guys, it's all kind of opportunities you can do, all kind of opportunities you create. If you just while you're negotiating the liens, just say you call it the first mortgage or whatever. If you plan to do that, then you can put somebody in on the lease purchase or on the finance while you're negotiating on the other liens, and get them knocked out eventually. Keep on moving, keep on renting property out, and live happily ever
That's very true. That's very true, Eddie. And it was one other point that I think that we need to raise here is the actual purchase price that since you said a year and a half that she's owned it, her actual purchase price will probably be somewhere probably retail and close to the value, and that would probably be about 200. Did you get that, Eddie?
it went out a little bit.
What I'm basically saying is the actual purchase price that she purchased it for versus the actual value of the property is probably going to be somewhere around 200,000, wouldn't you say?
What she bought it for?
Yeah.
Now she told me she got some kind of loan, Ed. I got all the docs. Got to read through all the millions of papers in a few minutes, but she said she had some kind of loan with that 20,000. So it's 180,000. That's with the second mortgage included.
Hmm.
She said that 20,000 is some kind of second mortgage that was given to her by some kind of program she got into. So she don't have to pay on it Every time she make her payment every year, it disappears. Well, a certain percentage is taken away from the second mortgage. I don't
Okay.
know. It's the first time I ran across this one. I got to read
Okay.
the documents to get more into detail. But we got all the paperwork yesterday. But she said it doesn't have to be paid every time she make a mortgage payment. It's forgiven a certain amount every year, and after 5 years, it's totally gone.
Wow.
So it's some kind of, I think, government loan or something like that. So,
Yeah, that sounds similar to NACA.
oh,
Okay.
she probably did go through that.
Yeah, that sounds something similar to NACA. These kind of transactions again doesn't come by, very often, but but bottom line is it's a very doable deal. And what makes it so exciting is the fact that again, the seller is willing to allow you to take over the payments, which we call subject to the existing financing again, correct?
Right.
That's powerful. That is so powerful. So, in a sense, with a transaction like this, here we go again. We wrap back to a little bit about what we talked about last week when it comes to the situation. Now, this is a single lady.
Single lady. Oh yeah, we did talk about this last week a little bit briefly. She
Was this?
single lady, this the one who she's in a domestic violence situation. Her husband's
Gotcha.
incarcerated.
Gotcha.
She's gone.
Gotcha.
She's all the way in Jonesboro, and the house is in Lawrenceville. She left. She got an hour away, guys. She all boogie.
Right. So basically here again what we focused on doing for the students here is helping them understand how powerful the situation is.
Right.
And this single lady, she got a situation. We talked a little bit about the last deal that I done in September, which we're gonna show it to you guys here a little bit. When you begin to understand these situations that these people are in, the house becomes important because the house is in the situation.
Right.
And if you can solve the situation for the seller, which is debt relief, you get the house.
Yeah. And that's the
Beautiful.
problem. The biggest problem. Most people, with these subjects too. I wouldn't say all the. Every situation is different. But most people got situations that they need to take care of, different issues. People, like I tell my students, man, and people, who've done subject to, it's different situation people want to sell. Especially like she got all these liens on there. A realtor wouldn't take this because there's no money in it for them. How are they gonna get paid? And she owe almost what it's worth. So she could sell it through a realtor. So she had to come. She had to answer from our advertisement. We just send her email.
So would you agree with me that a lot of the situations that you and I experienced and still are experiencing is people problems?
Yeah.
It's people problems. Okay. Guys, the problems are not going to go away because there are many of us that have a lack of IQ or a lower IQ when it relates to these problems accumulating. Using this lady as an example, she didn't bother about going to court when the credit card company was contacting her, so she gets this judgment against her, and then they place it on her home. Little does she know, and I think this is important again to help students understand that they too have to stay out of these situations. Here again, this also is important because not only can they attach the lien to the house, which they done, they can actually get her income tax when she get the income tax return, or they can put a lien against her bank account. So this can become a much larger problem for her. This is why sometimes her only solution is to file bankruptcy. And we want to help everybody understand this. And Eddie and I see a lot of people go through this. I mean, I've seen a ton of people go through these situations. I mean, really, the only answer is to file for bankruptcy, get bankruptcy protection, because now what that really does is it protects their income, their wages. So that's why uh, these learning all of these types of transactions become so good as we talk about them, because Eddie and I are very knowledgeable with these problems, and also we want to help our students, our partners, stay out of these problems and situations and troubles. Right, Eddie?
Right.
You got to just understand that you see people in these situations, problems, dilemmas, whatever word you want to call it.
Right.
So we want to basically help all of us stay out of these situations. Now, we can't rescue and save the world, okay? Because, I mean, we just don't know the whole world.
Right.
But these problems and situations are always going to occur as long as we market to these people that are in trouble. We will be buying houses. Would you agree with me, Eddie?
Yes, sir. If you don't market to them, you can't get them.
That's right.
You know, and every situation is different. You may find somebody on 3 or 4 months behind. This lady was like, excuse me, about 6, 7 months behind. So just very. You'll find some people 2 years behind. Remember that guy we found Ed? I think last year he was like 40 or 50,000 behind, and
I
then he
do.
wanted a crazy number, 20 or 30,000 or something crazy like that.
Right. That's a good point that you bring up, because, again, I want to reiterate the fact that this seller said that, told you that she didn't want anything. Okay.
Right.
She was just, she doesn't, you know, what I call juice the deal up is she done moved out of the house, and the fact that she don't want any money. So when we show you this last deal, when we show the students this last deal that I just closed on in September, we'll show you that I gave the seller $9,000 and the seller was not in foreclosure. So you can compare that deal to this deal, and now you can see the type of deals that you probably really want to go after. But if you don't have the $9,000, you can still do those kind of deals, because you have Eddie and I who will partner with you to do these kind of deals. That is win-win for all of us, and that's what makes these webinars so powerful, and we all make money.
That's right. All make money. So every deal's different. Cause I gave seller like the subject to I'm in. I gave the seller how much was $7,000, but I got like 60,000 in equity in it. So I mean, it makes sense, guys. You're gonna get a ton of equity, then you give up the money. Now, I wouldn't give up $50,000 if the seller got 60,000 in equity. No, sir. But the most I probably would go is about 10. As long as you can make a profit, but I wouldn't give nothing this outrageous.
Right.
Nothing outrageous.
Well, let's talk about that very briefly, Eddie, because I think our students and listeners, viewers, need to really understand that as investors such as myself and you, we want to buy equity. That's what we want to do. Okay. And like you suggested, and I agree with you, the most you probably want to spend to buy equity is that $10,000. So when you got these transactions where you know how to create $50,000 in equity and you don't have to give the seller anything, that's beautiful. And in my deal that we're going to show you a little bit later, we're going to talk about how much equity is in this property, and I paid the seller $9,000 for it. So we're going to talk about that later, because you need to understand that, yes, number one, these sellers will allow you to take over their mortgages, number one. Number two, these deals are so plentiful.
Oh my God.
So there's no excuse, like we talked about last night, taking a guy or girl who just come out of prison with no money, no credit, no job, and get them to the point within 12 months of never needing a job.
No.
Never.
It's all about your drive too, and your belief system. If you believe you can do it, you can do it. You believe you can't do it, you're right. You
You
can't
won't.
do it. You killed yourself right at the start. You didn't even get to the start line. You just shot yourself before you got there. Pow!
Right, right.
Man,
Yeah, that's pretty bad. If I tell myself I can't do it, well, it's obviously I won't.
right.
You got to be positive to yourself and believe that you can do it. I mean, certainly we expressing to you that we believe we can do it and we are doing it. I mean, what synergy do you think that we're trying to connect with you who's listening to help you believe that you can do it?
Right. And I'm gonna
That's
put a
it.
I'm gonna put this picture on the screen, Ed. I may have to make it bigger for one of your
Okay.
properties. Let's see.
All right.
Let's see. Can you see any what you see on the air? You see three pictures?
Nothing yet.
All right. Well, it's one I see it on my side. Let's see. Let me look. Give me a second, guys. I'm trying to see if you guys can see this picture I put up here. Oh, I see a lot of questions. I'm sorry, guys. I see your questions on YouTube, but I'm not seeing it in my feed on here.
Is it that one, Eddie?
It is the other one.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if I can make this. I'm still learning this system. Y'all got to bear with me. Thank God they got some live training on Monday, so I'll let you know the time too. Ed, you want to get on that with us? Well, Ed, show them that picture there. Yeah, that's the one right there. I'm trying to show it, but it's not coming up. Yeah, we can see it. That's perfect, Ed. So tell us a little bit about that one.
Okay. All right. Did I send you the HUD on that one? I think I did. Let me see if I can find it right quick. I think I sent you the HUD on that one.
Yeah,
Then we
you
could
sent
talk
me the
about it.
hood.
Okay, here it is, right here. All right. I gotta put my glasses on, y'all. All right. Okay, so that property right there, we purchased that property last year. And this is another one. I don't know why I'm beginning to find properties that sometimes are not in foreclosure, Eddie, but that one, again, that one was not in foreclosure. Um, that was a property that it came to me as a result of my landscaping company that I have. Also, another stream of income. We'll get into all of that a little bit later on. Multiple streams of income.
Multiple. That's how you get super rich.
Yes. Now, that property there came to me as a result of my landscaping company. The gentleman was going to sell the property, and I just asked him, bluntly, give me first dabs at it before he called a realtor. And probably a few months later, that's exactly what he done. And he called me, and now I had to really do some talking with him, some negotiating in terms of helping him understand what a subject to is. And once I helped him understand it, he was all for it. But here's a couple of things I want to say that help him understand it. Number one, I told him that I can take over the existing mortgage that he have right now. Okay. And at that time, I believe if you go to, let me see where that payoff. If you go to due from seller at closing, that's line 4, you'll see payoff of first mortgage loan. I think when we first took the property over, I believe he probably owed somewhere around 98,000. But if you can see that $96,883.72, that was the actual payoff. Now, Eddie, I did not know this word assumed, or look at this. This is very crucial. Listen to this now. You tell me if you see that line 3. You see it on that HUD, Eddie?
Let me pull it up.
Yeah, that's important because I want the students to understand something when it relates to assume versus subject to. Okay,
Right.
they're both on this HUD settlement. If you understand these HUD settlement statements, this is a federal document, and what's happening for the seller and the purchaser is right here in black and white. So right here is telling us on line 3, due from seller at closing. Line 3 talks about the existing loan, and it says assume or taken subject to.
Which let me see if I can pull the hood up.
Now it does. Okay,
Which one do you refer to? Winchester or the other one?
that's the Winchester property right there that you just had up.
Okay, let me see. So guys, I'm gonna pull up a HUD one so you can actually see that it's perfectly legal. So don't believe these rookies when they go and tell you, oh, it's not legal doing subject to or turn. I hate this. A realtor said it's illegal to do a subject to. Yeah, because they usually not getting paid any commission. And plus, 100 times out of 100, most realtors don't know about subject to. So don't even waste your time.
Right.
Man.
If they really look at this HUD when you bring it up, Eddie, they will see at the top left of it, it will clearly say the settlement agent, which is the attorney. It'll clearly give his name. Above that, it gives the closing date. Below that, it gives the closing attorney file number. It gives the property address. It gives the sales price. to the right of that, it even gives the borrower, which is the buyer who is buying the property from this trust, it shows his name. And up under it, it shows my name as trustee, as the seller of the 23 Winchester Drive Boys and Girls Land Trust. All of this is important. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, let's see. All right.
I'm gonna try to make this bigger, guys, so y'all can take a look at it.
All right, I see it, but yes, it does need to be bigger, wider. It looks like you got about half of it coming in so far. There you are. Yeah, you had you had it up, but I don't think they could read it.
Yeah, it was hard to see.
It's
We'll
hard to see.
figure it out. We'll figure it out on the next Saturday. But
Okay, okay. Oh,
yeah,
by the
guys,
way,
we want y'all to really see that, it's perfectly legal. So you can buy subject twos anywhere that I
speaking
know
of
of.
Eddie, speaking of next Saturday, we will be in a seminar next Saturday, starting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with Lou Brown. So,
Oh, look.
um, yeah, we probably need to do this Thursday night if we can. It would be very, much better for me to do this, Thursday if you can fit it in for Thursday. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
I probably could still do it, but it would be late. It couldn't be that morning because the seminars are during the day. It would have to be in the latter part of each one of those days. So just keep that in mind, okay?
Okay. Yeah. You guys look for our video next Thursday. We'll come on. We'll have it right next week where you can actually see the HUD ones. And I mean, you don't have to go kiss no bank butt for a house, man. People are willing to sell these properties all day. As you can clearly see, people don't have to be in a distressed situation. They don't have to be behind. I mean, people are sell subject to for different reasons. It's different reason.
Yeah.
The only downfall to a seller, if you don't make the mortgage payments, it can start messing up their payments. But other than that, when they go to close and they sold the property, it's sold. They don't have to worry about it anymore. You're taking care of all the responsibility with the property, the house insurance, maintenance, repairs, everything. So it alleviates them. It's a quick closing. You can do this as soon as you get the title cleared, 2 or 3 days, you can close on it. So, man, I love buying real estate like this. We've been buying real estate like this for a long time, very long time.
Yes,
This is not nothing just started last week.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, you're right. If you don't make that mortgage payment, it will damage that seller credit who trusted you to make their mortgage payment And in both of these last two situations, and it appeared to me that seems like I closed both of them in September. I believe I did. I'm certainly looking at this one here, and this one here to Winchester, 9/21.
Y'all hit the thumbs up too. If you got some really good information on this, hit thumbs up. We'll get
Yeah.
shared with everybody.
Yeah, this last one that I done was 9/21, and I think the one that Eddie put up on the screen, that Winchester property. I'm pull it up again, and this is why we talk so much about these things. It's real, but I believe that
I can
one
put
was
that.
done.
Let me put that
Let me
back.
see the date. I'm gonna see the date on it because I believe I did both of these in the month of. But the truth of the matter is they both are subject to the existing finances. And that's why I wanted to show you guys that one I'm buying and one I'm selling, but they stick to the existing financing. You can do it both ways, guys. And that's why I wanted to show you this. All of this just happened this year in the same month of September. I sell one that I purchased last year on a subject to the existing financing, which was the Winchester property. And then the Grayfield property we're going to show you a picture of here in a minute. We bought it and closed it at the closing on September the 21st. And neither one of these transactions, from the buyer standpoint, they were in foreclosure. Neither one of them. They trusted me to make their mortgage payments until I sell the property. Right. That's important. I'm going to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. It's important that you make their mortgage payment.
Right.
Important. They're trusting you to make their mortgage payment every single month. No strings attached, no excuses. We're not telling you, we're not teaching you to not make their mortgage payment. That is not what we're teaching you. Right. You will make the mortgage payment. I'm going to reiterate it over and over and over. Do not do these transactions if you're not going to make their mortgage payment. Right. Right. Let's show them that Grayfield property. You got a picture of it?
Yeah, let me pull that one up.
Man, this is a beautiful home.
Yeah, it's pretty. Where's this one?
Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, wow. It's nice. Let me pull it up, guys. So if y'all can see that one, it's a pretty nice house. I'm gonna make it full screen for a second.
This is not a raggedy house. This is not an ugly house. This is a pretty house. And again, this guy, this soldier was not in foreclosure. Let me share with you how I have this deal. How did I get this deal? I have a cousin that lives there in Savannah. I live north of Atlanta in Cartersville. My cousin knows what I do. She's a realtor. She just got her license. My cousin was contacted by this soldier who needed to sell this home quick. Key word, quick. He didn't want to waste time. He wanted it done quick. So she calls me and I got it done quick. I saw equity in the property. I paid the seller for his equity. I agreed to take over his mortgage payment. And remember, guys and girls, if you're listening, that this soldier was all the way in North Carolina. We did everything through FedEx, email, telephone. We made it easy for the seller. If you can learn to make a transaction easy for the seller, do and I do. So please understand what we're sharing with you, that we're teaching you, that this is not rocket science, yet you have to be taught step by step. Step 1, step 2, step 3. You can't go to step 4 and skip step 2 and 3. You have to be taught how to do these transactions. That's what we're here for. That's why we're on this webinar, so that we can teach people. We're going to give our knowledge, give it to our students. If they are willing to learn this, they can do what we do. Right. You don't have to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars and make multiples, mistakes after mistake after mistake like we have done. You don't have to. Most people never get started because they can't find that $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 or upwards of $10,000 for a seminar. They can't find it. That's why we're taking our time to teach you guys this. We either go to.
They're getting a lot of experience. They're getting a lot of experience, man.
That's right. We're going to partner with you and coach you. That's the purpose here. And it's not going to cost $10,000. And you're not going to make tons of mistakes and frustrate yourself. That's not going to happen. So that's why we're here. That's why we're going to be on these calls, be on these webinars, working with you all to help you guys get away from the mentality of the JOB, just over broke.
Oh, hallelujah. Preach it, brother Ed. Preach it.
Wow.
Hey man, they got the whole world tricked, man. It's a nice trick they got going on. Been working for centuries, decades.
Yeah. They playing it.
Let me see what kind of questions we got. Let me go.
Okay, let's go.
Got a couple of people on here.
You want me to answer that question that I got from last week? I don't remember his name. And let me see if I can remember the question. I think his question was, where can he get a list for these properties? Well, Eddie, we don't have a list for sale. We don't go buy no list, do we?
For the pre-foreclosure?
Right. We don't go buy no list to find deals. That's not what we do, correct?
Well, you can buy deals. You know, some people buy lists, some people don't. But like I tell people, you can go to the county and get them, or go online and get them. Shoot,
right. So, right. So yes, you can, but I don't. Okay. So my point in answering his question specifically, I don't buy lists. I can give you a website. I can give you a website and coach you through this free website. It's free. FREE. Free.
Free all
So
day.
it's all day, okay? For some of the listeners that are in other states, they might have a website just like what we have in Georgia. So let me give you this list. Let me just share this with our listeners. But I want the listeners to understand as I answer this question and give you more knowledge here on how to find these deals. You have to understand that you got to be coached. You got to understand step one, step two, step three on how to transact the deal. Okay. Now I'm gonna tell you where this site is for all our Georgia listeners. Every Georgia listener have access to www.foreclosurehotline.net. www.foreclosurehotline.net. Eddie, I need for us to check that right quick to see if it's plural or singular. Is it foreclosure or foreclosures? Let's check that right quick, please.
You come up with the Ed.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm just
Yeah,
checking that.
I think it's foreclosure.net. Now we do use equitydepot.net. It's like $100 a month, and you get all the pre-foreclosures in 5 counties. So you can
Oh,
download them in the spreadsheet, the addresses, the names, the attorney information, all that comes like in a PDF.
okay. So to answer my question and to answer his question, it's singular, foreclosure, singular. www.foreclosurehotline.net. I hope everyone got that. If you don't, email myself or Eddie and we'll get that information to you. We will help you navigate and market to these people. Eddie is giving you a site that you welcome to buy, but you still got to know how to market to these people and know what to say when they contact you. You have to
Right.
know what to say and how to market to them. That site is good. Those two sites are very good. Eddie, you said www.
EquityDepot.net.
equitydepot.net. There go two nice sites that you have. One you can pay for, the other one is free. The one that I'm sharing with you guys, it's free for all 159 counties in Georgia. It's free. Okay. You get this at the privacy of your fingertips in your home. It's free. Okay. For this largest attorney firm in Georgia website that do the majority of the foreclosures in Georgia. So again, those who are listening in other states, you too probably need to find the largest attorney firm who does the majority of the foreclosures in your state and see if you can Google them and see if they have a website that you can navigate through to find their foreclosure listings every single month. There's no excuse for us not to have deals at our fingertips, as many as we want, as many as we need. Right, Eddie?
Right. Let me see who else. What are other questions we got?
Okay.
Let's see. Hey, Rosanna, Chris, Sonia. Thank you guys for watching us live. Let's see. Must be the one you talked about. Chris, brother Chris, how you doing?
What's up, brother Chris?
That's my brother out of VA. We do a live show every Wednesday. Once we get this master, because we can bring in 3 or 4 people at the same time. So I want all 3 of
Okay.
us to get together and do one of these live. He's pretty good.
Okay.
Chris does a lot of rehabs up there in Virginia.
Okay? Are you familiar with Zoom? If you are, how can we maybe use Zoom instead of um,
The only
this
the only
Stage
thing
10?
only thing this system here, you go live everywhere. Zoom, I don't know if you can go live on YouTube yet. We'll do some
Oh yeah,
research.
that's the difference.
We'll do some
That
research
that's
on it.
Yeah, that's the difference. Okay, yeah, being connected to YouTube and actually being able to post it on YouTube. You're right. Okay. So another question?
Sonya said what kind of Sonya asked me what kind of conversation I had with the seller once I realized she didn't tell the truth about everything. Well, I got a little excited because she wanted $10,000 last week. Brother Ed, she wanted 10,000 last week, right before Thanksgiving. So I got excited. I said, "Oh, so you was hiding some stuff on me." So now we got a different conversation. Now it's time to talk turkey. I went back. I'm like, "Look, this house is not worth anything. It's too many liens on it." I said, only thing I could do is, pay closing costs, and that's it. I'm not gonna give you my money, and no, it's look, nah. You don't have any equity. You're not getting $10,000. You're not getting anything. Now I pay the closing costs.
Yes, yes. So Eddie, let's help Sonia understand that because that's reality there. That's fresh, like last week for you.
Hmm.
So here we got a seller who basically done bailed. They'll say you got a vacant house. Okay,
Right,
so we know they don't want the house. They're
right,
gone, right?
right,
Okay, that's the first point. The second point is they don't have no equity because of the liens, right?
right.
The third point is now we realize that the seller either she didn't know or she blatantly lied about what's owed on the property. So now we got to talk about that. Now, as a result of talking about that and realizing that she wants $10,000, we realize now we can't give her $10,000. What we can do for her is two the thing to do for her. You mentioned the other one is that and it's freezing up for some.
Yeah,
Okay, you back. All right. I don't know if it caught anything I was just saying or not, but
yeah. It
the
did,
two
but last,
things here.
just the
Okay,
last
the
part.
two things here that's important. You mentioned one was that you agreeing as the investor to pay the closing costs, and if I can, if I could hold up this settlement statement that I have right here, I want our listeners to see what these closing costs comes up to be. And I'm gonna do my best to try to hold it up and help them see it. Eddie, tell me if you can see this because they don't believe that this is real. And I don't know if they can see that, but
Oh
down
yeah,
there at the bottom, let me see if I can find it. It's
yeah.
freezing up.
Find it and just hold it still. You do. Okay, we're on the
Settlement charges. It's down there at the
settlement
bottom.
charges. Okay, yeah, we see that. Just put it on there and stay there for a second.
There it is.
18, $1,836. That's it. And 50 cents.
Now, we as investors, when we're talking to the seller, and this lends itself to what her question is all about. When we say we gonna pay the closing costs to a seller, well, the seller thinking in their minds. Now, catch me when I say this because this is very important. The sellers are thinking five, six, seven, even $8,000, right, Eddie,
Right.
for closing costs. You and I have negotiated with our attorneys for $2,000 or less for closing costs, right?
Right.
Okay. You agreed to pay the closing costs if the seller is thinking in their mind five, six, seven, $8,000. You didn't say this, but you also agreeing to take the house as is and you do the repairs. Am I right?
Right.
So the repairs could be another $5,000.
Yeah, the
So,
repairs, yeah, about 5 or less.
oh, of course, very easy. So in this conversation that you having with this seller to help her understand, you got to pay this stuff. The investor has to pay these things, and he's agreeing to pay them.
Yeah.
That is music to the seller's ears. And you and I do this like clockwork, right?
Right. They don't have to deal with it. We're taking sorry. We're taking over all the liens associated with the property, judgments, everything. We put it on our back. So sellers like that, man. I mean, some people get in a big situation and they can't think themselves out of it. So thank God, once you got that knowledge, you can help them get out of that stuff, get all that stuff out, man. They can get a peace of mind. They can go on about their business. They're happy. You took over the property, took their headache away, and man, hey, it's a mental relief for them.
Right.
And it's a win-win for everybody. They're happy, they're getting paid down or off eventually. You're happy, you got another investment for your portfolio. And then you got to think we're in this type of business. So to us, it's not stressful because this is what we do. To them, it's stressful because they don't know anything about getting the IRS lien removed and the second mortgage removed and all these liens attached to the property removed. Only thing they can see is debt, stress, drama, you know. So, it's a win-win. So guys, you got to definitely add this to your toolbox because you can bless a lot of people. And you get blessed back. So when you bless other people, you bless back. Let me see.
You,
Go
you're
ahead.
exactly right. I totally agree with everything you just said. Next question.
Let's see. Yeah. How does the final work out? Say when you are negotiating, then how does the final mortgage work out as far as what the cost will be? Well, I don't know if you're talking about if you're talking about a loan modification, you typically won't know. That's going to take anywhere from 2, 3, 4 months, maybe 5 to get done. So you won't know the outcome of that till a couple of months. All of this, even with the lien removals and all that, and negotiate on the second mortgage, those going to take a couple of months to get done. This is not going to happen overnight. It's going to take you anywhere from 2 to maybe 6 months. It just depends on how hard you are on the file. You're on it, you're persistent every week, boom, boom, hitting them every week, every 2 weeks, get stuff in on time. You can pretty much get this stuff done in about 2 to 3 months. And the outcome, like if you're negotiating on a second mortgage, they already, once it's in default, they got paid from the insurance company. So once it goes into default, the insurance company pay them off. They already got their money. So now they just collect whatever. They don't even care. Well, they care, but 10%. I would start off at 5% negotiating though and work your way up. But don't start off at 10 because they may go to 20. What's your take
Okay.
on those liens?
Okay, Eddie, you dumped a whole lot of knowledge on them right there.
Went too fast.
Yeah, Eddie, that went way over their head, bro. That almost went across my head, bro. But let me see if I could just piggyback off of technically what you said that to help who might still be confused. Okay. What you technically said is that the mortgage companies have a insurance policy in place that when a loan goes in the default, which is default is considered 90 days late. I'm gonna get into the specifics of what you just said, okay? And we will teach and train our students, our partners on this kind of knowledge as we go forward. But I'm just touching on it right now. But I don't want them to be confused about what you just said.
Right.
So bottom line is, by being armed with certain kind of knowledge like you and I are, it causes us to be able to deal with the lender, mortgage company, bank, whatever it is, either one, doesn't matter, they all the same, different. Okay, because of that, we deal with them different. And we're not just a layperson who sees $180,000 mortgage and we're thinking that that $880,000 mortgage is set in stone. Well, based on this kind of knowledge that we have, we know that that 180,000 is not set in stone. You disappeared.
Right. It's not set in stone.
Okay. It's not set in stone. So that's what I want, again, our listeners and students to and partners to really understand here, that when you get the kind of knowledge that we're going to give them in the next 12 months, they will be able to do any transaction they want to do. And if they have any questions, you and I are making ourselves available, because this is our livelihood. This is what we do. We ain't doing nothing else different. Every day. Every day. Now, the truth about that is we have multiple streams of income, but we want you guys to get this first, and then we will show you these other streams of incomes that we have. Right, Eddie?
Right. One at a time.
One at a time.
They wanted to know about the Savannah property. How much does their mortgage run per month?
I think it's around $1,500 a month. PITI, which stands for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Now, most people, Eddie, most people be scared of that. I'm not.
What you think you'll be able to rent it out for?
2,000.
Oh, ching ching.
Ching.
I like that. Hey,
Oh,
look at that guy.
hey, let's talk about that. Ooh, I'm so excited. Hey, look,
$500 free dollars.
Whoa. Wait a minute, Eddie. Wait. Eddie, don't let this blow over their head. We got to make sure they get this, bro. They got to get this. This is an awesome deal. Remember, we said this guy was not in foreclosure, right?
Right.
This guy was willing to allow us to take over his mortgage, right?
Right.
This guy is a soldier who had a situation, right?
Right.
His situation warrant us doing this deal with a beautiful 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, 2.5 bath, 3-car garage in a nice community, and it was vacant when we got the deal. Is this good?
Oh, sweet. Lord have mercy.
On top of all of that, Eddie, the $1,500 mortgage payment is very comfortable for me. I want it to be comfortable. I don't want them to be scared of a $1,500 a month payment. Here's what's happening to this point. If we close the deal in September, I really want to teach them what I'm about to say right now, because I'm so fired up about this. Man, when they learn how to do this, boy, they're going to be unstoppable. But let me just share with you. Let me just share with you right now.
Go on,
Very briefly.
Ed. Bless him, brother Ed. Bless him a
Let
little
me
bit.
just do this. Look here. We closed the deal in September. We did not have to make October payment.
Oh.
We did not have a mortgage payment until November. We got to teach them how this is possible. I've made to this day, today will be my second mortgage payment. My second mortgage payment since September. This is December. I have inside that property. Let's do the math. Take your calculator. I have the house listed for $264,900. $264,900. Let me just do this right quick so I can help our students and our listeners get it very quickly how easy they can do this. Watch this. You take your calculator. This should not scare anybody. You got a $264,900 transaction. Get that. I'm doing it with my own calculator, so y'all be patient with me because I want to walk you through this right quick.
Sonya, on that. Oh, crazy, man. Check. Hey, so on that site, Sonya, what Ed gave out, no, the properties haven't foreclosed yet. They're getting ready to foreclose. So they haven't foreclosed. Now, once they foreclose, it's too late to do a subject to the bank has the property back. So it's a wrap. But I have seen also where banks supposed to foreclose and somebody didn't buy it at the sale, then they won't foreclose. They'll wait the next month. See if they could try one more time and resell it. So you still have another opportunity. You have another 30-day window to get into that bank and get that sale stopped.
Okay, Eddie, next week, we need to teach them the importance of what they're looking at on that site because it's a lot on that site we need to teach them about. So next week, we will teach them about the auction.com. We'll teach them about pre-foreclosure versus auction. We will teach them next week. Next week will be exciting, guys. Don't miss next week. We just gave you a wealth of information that you will need in your toolbox, and you cannot miss next week. Even if you sick next week, you get somebody to bring us in your living room next week because you're getting a wealth of knowledge here that will help you get out here and do the same thing that we are doing every day, and you will tell your boss, I don't need you no more.
Oh yeah, man, that'd be the best, one of the best times of your life, man. I tell you, when I got fired, man, going to my first real estate seminar, it was a blessing, man. That was the first time it was a blessing to be fired.
That
Cause
sounds crazy to say it was a blessing.
hey, the heat was on, and I had to produce. I had 2 kids, just got fired. Shit, I had to produce, brother. Went to that seminar, came out left fired up, boy. Hey, I ain't looked back since. Thank you, God.
Yeah. Mine was a little bit different. So let's walk them through this deal very, very briefly so they're not afraid of this $1,500 a month principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Okay. Now, $264,900 is what I have the house listed for. Now, if you take your calculator, guys, and follow along with me so I can help you here. Okay. 264,900 minus 200 and about $30,000.
Next week, guys, Thursday. Ed, what's a good time Thursday? 7, you want to do or early? We can do early in the daytime, or it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, let them send us a message on the ones that are listening right now on what they think might be the best time, and then we'll work it by that because you and I we're on our own time schedule technically, so whatever best time that we can gather their attention, Eddie, will be the best time. So let them tell us basically.
Okay. Y'all, you
So
guys leave a message. What time would be good? You know, what time y'all could log in and stream. I know Thursday, you know, people are working, so just let us know. If you know we can't get a good time, like everybody may be in between different times, we still will post. Just be looking for like the last video that I post on Thursday next week.
okay, so what I basically just did, it comes up to about $34,900.
Okay,
Now,
now give us the breakdown
yeah,
from the start
who
to finish.
who in their right mind would not want $34,900 and to put yourself to the test for at least 3 months? And let me explain to you why I'm saying 3 months. Okay, I will make at least about 3 payments. Right now, I'm gonna leave the house vacant for about 3 months. So that's gonna be November, December, and January. Okay, that's gonna be upwards of about 5 grand. So even if it sold in 3 months and I paid 5 more grand toward the uh
Payment.
the mortgage, that still leave me with over $30,000 or around $30,000 profit. Guys, when you can break these deals down and see this, there's no way that you can understand how to do this unless you trained. You have to be trained to see these kind of numbers, and that's what we here for. That's why we here, because gosh, if you do 2 deals like this a year and you're earning $60,000 and you're working all year.
Man.
You're working all year to earn $60,000, fighting the traffic, putting wear and tear on your car, putting wear and tear on you, stress on you. Come on. Can
Hey,
you change your life with 2 of these deals a year? Yes, you can.
yeah, and you got to think about it. When you're working, you getting taxed the highest, so you're really not even making 60,000.
Okay, Eddie, you brought up a whole nother animal.
Let's be
You
realistic now. See, when you
okay,
got your
Eddie?
own business, you can write off so much stuff. The taxes you pay is nothing compared to the taxes you pay when you got a job. Big difference.
Okay, Eddie, you brought up a whole nother animal. If they understood what I just shared with them, now you coming up with a whole nother animal because now you're talking about earned income, you're talking about portfolio income, and you also talking about passive income. And I'm writing this down as we speak it, and I hope they're writing it down and taking notes as well. Because here again, guys, we're trying to teach you guys things that most of us never knew, and a lot of us still don't know.
Right.
So when you're living in the United States of America, there's 3 different types of incomes. Okay, and we're gonna briefly talk about them because Eddie made it very clear, but I want to clear the smoke in the air so we can understand which one is the best one. In this country, you have 3 different types of incomes. You got earned income, portfolio income, and passive income. Let me break each one of them down very briefly. That earned income is that $60,000 that JOB is paying you. Just over broke is paying you that 60,000. Like Eddie just said, you don't get the whole 60,000. Portfolio income is income that comes from and derived from stocks, bonds, treasury notes. That's portfolio income. It is also taxed as well. passive income, guys, is the best one that our schools and our colleges have not taught us, and still to this day do not teach us. And the reason why is because it is tax free.
Woo! Say it again one more time, Ed.
It is tax free.
My type of money.
Now, with that being said, we're going to cover a webinar just about these three types of incomes.
Yeah,
That's
we
going to be
need to.
that is
Yeah, we got to.
powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. So, guys, let me just say this to you. We've shared a lot of information with you today. Okay. So, please, 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 if you got some questions mainly about what we shared today, ask them. I want you guys to get what we shared with you today. If you get what we shared with you today, you well on your way to becoming financially independent.
Yeah. You
Not
don't have to get up to the
deep.
job. I'm telling you, man. So you guys stay tuned, man. We're gonna keep blessing y'all with this information. Ed, what's a good way? What email is good for them to reach you at? They have any questions?
Info at House Destiny LLC. I think my wife says at gmail.com. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Info at House Destiny LLC.com. My wife sets all this stuff up for me, so I have to write it down and remember it.
Yeah, that's good,
But
man.
it's
You gotta delegate. We have to delegate, guys. Delegate. Put things on
yes,
autopilot as much as possible. I just put Ed email address at the bottom. You guys want to reach out to my brother Ed for any questions, any coaches, or anything real estate related. Um, we thank you guys for tuning in. We're gonna set a date, probably once a week, where me and Ed go live to help you guys out. That way, you guys know every week. We tune in this time. We're gonna be live. That way, we can get some of these questions answered for you guys. You guys have a blessed Saturday. Thank you, brother Ed, for tuning in with
yes,
us. Any words, any
yes.
last words you want to give to them?
Yeah, one other thing. I know we talked about what might be the best time for our viewers. Did you get any response? I'm not looking at my email right now. Did you get any response on what might be a good time for Thursday? Or we can just keep it at Saturday, but in this case, next Saturday, because of my commitment, it would have to be, Saturday evening. You're running into say 7 or 8 o'clock that evening, but I'm okay with that. But I still want to know pretty much, what our viewers are thinking here.
Yeah, they're talking about, well, it's mixed. We got some say in the evening, some say in the afternoon. So we'll just get together and put together a time. I'll just look for the next Thursday, guys. Just look out, for what time is good for you, Ed? We can do it now if you want to.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pinpoint a time of say 7 o'clock Thursday evening. That will work perfect for me as far as I know. And we can come live again Thursday evening. It'd be great.
Okay. Let's shoot for Thursday evening. Let's see, around 7 you want to do?
7 o'clock.
All right.
Okay.
So 7 p.m. Thursday, guys. We'll see you guys. And I'm gonna read a paragraph out this book I'm reading. I like to conclude with this by my boy Dr. Joseph Murphy, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. He say, it is your right to be rich. You are here to lead the abundant life and be happy, radiant, and free. You should therefore have all the money you need to lead a full, happy, and prosperous life. You are here to grow, expand, and unfold spiritually, mentally, and materially. You have all the right to fully develop and express yourself along all lines. You should surround yourself with beauty and luxury. Why be satisfied with just enough to go around when you can enjoy the riches of your subconscious mind? And I'll leave that thought with you. So in this book right here, he goes deep into the subconscious mind, how to reprogram yourself for greatness. Because growing up, man, we don't have our paradigms. Most of the habits and the stuff we do come from our moms, the people who we grew up around, the area we grew up around with. Just like your parents spoke two or three languages. When you grew up in the same house, you'll be speaking at least two or three languages. So your mom, may drink, you probably drank, or your sister probably drank. So we pick up a lot of people habits growing up along the way. They're really not ours, but they can all just be reprogrammed. You have to learn how to reprogram. Peace, guys. You guys have a great Saturday, and we'll talk to you next week.
Hey, yes.
Shut up.